side yard width for a waiver of 2 feet. Staff is recommending approval of the request subject to 2 provisos.
Okay, is the applicant present for docket number 4311?
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ellis Charles. I purchased the property on 4421 Bowden Street through a bank foreclosure. When I purchased the property, I bought the property as is, not knowing what was going on with the property. I went to the city of New Orleans. I got a renovation permit. They granted me a renovation permit. Preceding me doing the work, I started to proceed with renovating the house. Come to find out, the neighbor around the corner, which I had him put in court, I had him brought to jail 5 times. This is my subpoenas from him. Come to find out, he was trying to purchase the house. I had no idea about the house. Therefore, every time I tried to work on the house, this man would come down to City Hall and complain. He was complaining, saying that I was working when there was no work going on because I was trying to get the legal documents to continue work. So this is why I'm in here today, because of this man right here. I have a stay-away order from him, from the judge. This man knocked my front teeth out my mouth because of this property. This man here has threatened me. He said, if I continue this work, you won't live in this house. So I want to put it on record. If y'all give me the go-ahead to continue working, if anything happened to me, I want to put it on record. This man right here, him right here, who I'm fighting with. Here's my stay-away order. Here, how many times I've been to court with him behind a property where he was dating a woman. She took the money, left town, and he get mad with me when I bought the house through a foreclosure. Therefore, that's why I'm here today, asking y'all for approval to continue working.
All right, sir, thank you. Okay, do we have anyone here in support of docket number 4311? Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone here in opposition to docket number 4311? Okay, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Manu Montoya. I live at 416 South Murat Street, right behind this property here. This has been going on for quite some time. I know that Mr. DeSales has been trying to resolve the issue with Mr. Ellis, and it has resulted to the point to where we're at now. I even accompanied Mr. DeSales over here to see Mr. Paul May to try to resolve it, and nothing was done. As a result, we're here today trying to get something resolved. As a former building inspector and licensed professional real estate inspector in the state of Texas, I am perplexed as to how Mr. Tarlington managed to build approximately 70% to an existing structure in violations of setback requirements and without an approved building permit or plans requiring such for construction. After Mr. DeSales complained, several stop work orders were posted which were removed and ignored while construction continued. I personally witnessed that. Setback requirements are implemented for fire, life safety, and to avoid congestion. As a resident of 416 South Murat Street, I am opposed to granting of such a waiver since Mr. Tarlington ignored all zoning ordinances and stop work orders, or provided proof that such a waiver would not impose undue building restrictions on his neighbors or fire access and egress requirements. The solution is that he must comply with the existing zoning and code ordinances. That is my thought on this whole issue. Thank you very much, and I yield the rest of my time to Mr. DeSales.
Okay, well, you only had 12 seconds left, so he may want to have his own 2 minutes. Anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition to docket number 4311?
My name is Charles DeSales. I live at 422 South Murat Street. My property is adjacent to Mr. Tarlington. He has been trying to circumvent every situation it is. First of all, he applied for a Katrina repair permit, which he did over 50% renovation to the property, 50% addition, which actually requires him to elevate the old and the new. As he just stated a few minutes ago when he bought the property as is, at the dimensions that it is now, well, you have a copy in front of you that says when he bought the property, it was 800 and a few square feet. You have copies of the Google Earth before of the property before Katrina and the property after Katrina. And I think if you notice that what he said is very, very so untrue. He was required to have a survey. If you look at, and I think it's item number 2 in my list there, this is not a survey, it's only a description. And actually, I'm asking the board that to not issue him any permits and to actually have the construction that's being constructed removed. He's asking for a variance on the Alexander Street side, which it's not in compliance also, but it's the Murat Street side where he's built too close to the property line. His overhang is almost on the property line. If he adds gutters, it will be on the property line. And I don't know how he's going to channel the water approximately 100 feet to the Bowden Street side of his residence. And if you'll notice, it's not within the elevations. We have photographs of, I think you have photographs of everything in front of you. That his property, as of now, because of the addition, it does not meet the elevation requirements. And I'm asking the board to please do not issue Mr. Ellis Tarleton any permits and to maybe take the process to have him remove the illegal portion of his structure that he's very so much tried to circumvent and just illegal construction.
Anyone else here in opposition to docket number 4311?
Madam Chair, I have a question to ask the gentleman who just left. And that is, I just want to make a comment that this morning's hearing is on the minimum width of the side yard. You spoke to elevation and a few other concerns that you have, but those items are not before us today.
He's asking for a variance on the Alexander Street side when the stop work order was put by me. I think that's item number 4 here, that the Murat Street side is the side that's too close to the property line also.
That's not.
You have copies of the measurements from my fence line to his property there. He's only trying to circumvent the situation because if you give him a variance for Alexander Street, then you give him clearance to go ahead with his project, which is over the property lines on the Murat Street side. And you all said you were going to send someone out to measure that.
Actually, we did, sir. We sent somebody out to measure. And if I can speak to this, we sent an inspector out to the site who did a measurement on that side. And he said while there was an expansion on the Murat Street side as well, that currently they're 3 feet from the property line and that is compliant.
Well, if you look at the photographs that...
Sir, you can't tell measurements from photographs. We agreed that we'd send an inspector out. Inspector went out.
What about the survey he was supposed to have? I mean, you know, the inspector may have be in his favor. I'm not saying that is true, but that can happen.
Sir, I'm not going to get into that. What I'm trying to explain to you is you had a request of the board that we go out there and take a look at the Murat side. We went out and we took a look at it. And we were advised by the inspector, not the inspector for the area, but the inspector that works just with BZA requests, that there wasn't a need for a setback variance on that side, that while he did expand the side out, that it was in compliance with the 3 feet. If it's determined later on that he's not in compliance with the 3 feet, then he can come back and ask for that variance. But this is what Ms. Banks and Ms. Major are trying to tell you, that the request before us now is for the other side of the property.
But if you grant him the other side, he's going to continue with his construction because it's going to make it okay for him.
Sir, that's something that's determined by the Department of Safety and Permits. If they determine that that is compliant, you can appeal their determination. But right now, the request that's before us is for the Alexander Street side.
But his stop work order was for the complete.
Sir, it's the Department of Safety and Permits stop work order, and it's at your request that we sent them out, and they're advising us that that side is in compliance. If you don't agree with that, you can file a formal application to appeal.
We will do that.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. The applicant has 2 minutes to respond to the opposition.
Mr. Paul,